Hi guys, Attorney Brianna Robertson here, and I just want to take time to talk to you guys about some alternatives to the probate process here in Texas. So, when you lose a loved one, once again, it's hard. Grieving is hard, but the Texas probate process, it shouldn't be hard, but for a lot of people, it can be, because depending on the estate, what's going on with the family, what was prepared ahead of time. For some people, it is hard, and that is where my office and my team and people like my team, where we come in, is we come in and try to make that process a little bit easier for you, so that way you can get back to grieving your loved one and healing and celebrating their life. And so, one of the most common questions we get when people come to our office and their loved ones have assets that's left behind is, do I really have to go to court? Do I really have to spend like years and years and years in court to get these assets from my loved ones? And the truth of that answer is, it depends. Um, it depends on what assets your loved one has, and what heirs, do they know who all the heirs are, etc. There are different avenues, that are alternatives to probate, such as affidavits of heirship or muniment of titles, small estate affidavits that can be used versus having to go through the full probate process. Now, small estate affidavits can be used for, just like the name says, if the estate is not exceptionally large, then you can use small estate affidavits. If the threshold is like $75,000 or less, you can use small estate affidavits to probate the estate. um, and while those do have to go through the courts, it's a lot quicker process than having to go through a full probate, just because of the size of the estate, and the courts are not trying to exhaust the estate, if it doesn't have to. So, that is an alternative to doing a full probate. Another one is if you're solely just dealing with wanting to transfer the title of the home, and if there's a will. Let's say that the family member did a will, and the only asset that's left to be distributed, with this will, is property such as real estate. Well, if that's the only thing that needs to be transferred and there's a will, then you can do what's called a muniment of title to transfer title of the home, and you don't have to go through the full probate process to do so. Now, mind you, when you do that, you're not appointing an executor of the state or of the estate, or handling any of the debts or anything. However, it is a quicker way to be able to transfer title when there is a will involved and all you're dealing with real estate. Um, Another route that you can use to help with, instead of the probate process, is what we call an affidavit of heirship. An affidavit of heirship is not something that's filed with the courts. It's simply an affidavit that, is based on the code. You have the necessary information in the affidavit to determine who all the heirs are, and it's recorded with the clerk of court. And it's something that is used when people just have like their loved one just left property behind. They don't want to go through the full probate process, to determine, to get a court order. So they do what's called an affidavit of heirship to determine the heirs instead. The issue with the affidavit of heirship is that it is not a court order, and it is something that can be contested at any time if somebody finds that this affidavit is inaccurate. So it's not a court order. It's not a definitive answer to saying like these are who all the heirs are. It's not as ironclad as getting a court order through the probate process, where the judge orders that these are who all the heirs are, and the amounts that they inherit. Is simply going off of your word of, these witnesses say that they knew who this person was, and based off of their relationship, this is who all the heirs are. And after 5 years, an affidavit of heirship is determined to be what we call prima facie evidence, pretty much establishing who the heirs are. And this means that to go against it, you have to prove that this is not correct. That does not mean that after 5 years it can't be contested, because it can be contested at any time, which is why affidavit of heirships tend to be the weaker way of handling it, because it's not a court order that officially transfer title. It's just something that you could file with the courts that helps with the chain of title. And a lot of times we see this when families just want to Some title companies will accept it if they're transferring title. Some title companies will accept an affidavit of heirship to show the chain of title. Not all, but some. And then also when it comes to, just wanting it on the record to clear title, and if you're not planning on selling a house anytime soon, and you just want to make sure it's like, clear title, who's going to be the one handling the taxes, etc., etc. So these are different avenues that you can use in the state of Texas over over a full probate process. These are different avenues that can be used. And while some of them are better than others, you're not always required to go through a full probate process. Also, it is good to note that if you have bank accounts that have a pay on death, um, you know, if you have like a retirement account, life insurance policies that have listed beneficiaries, those things do not have to go through a probate process in order to pass to the next person. However, if there's no beneficiaries listed, then they will have to go through probate in order to pass, because they will require that you have letters of administration to get access to those things. So I hope you found this video helpful and informational. If you did, please click like and stay tuned for more future videos to help you help navigate you through these difficult times if you're going through, probate or the death of a loved one in the state of Texas. You can contact my office. My team is ready to help you walk through this process with you. You can contact my office at 214-432-5972, or you can click the link at bcrobertsonlaw.com and schedule a consultation there, and we'd be happy to talk with you. Till next time, peace.